Did you know some super clone Rolex replicas now use genuine grade steels and sapphire crystals, fooling buyers and sometimes even specialists too? This is exactly how fake Rolexes are made, an industrialized mimicry of luxury, if you will. Replica production begins with the hunt for materials. At the lower end, counterfeiters settle for generic steel alloys and mineral glass. But the high-end operations source far more carefully, sometimes even purchasing from legitimate surplus channels or contracting third-party mills. The goal is not longevity, but the illusion of it. An amazing fact is that some advanced counterfeit shops now use nominal 904L grade stainless steel and top-grade synthetic sapphire crystals, which were materials once exclusive to Rolex itself. By adopting these inputs, counterfeiters blur the first line of defense, which is the feel and shine of the case. From bezels cut from hard ceramic to crystals treated with anti-reflective coatings, the focus remains on visual fidelity. Hardness and luster are prioritized above all else because the watch only needs to pass a quick glance test. Every metal choice, every crystal order is weighed against a single outcome. Will it look convincing enough on the wrist? But once the raw metal is chosen, the real deception begins. The skeleton of every replica lies in its case and bracelet. Now, these aren't made in back rooms with crude tools, but in industrial workshops that also serve legitimate OEM clients. The amazing fact is that many counterfeit operations leverage the same CNC centers and bulk stamping presses used by small authorized manufacturers, allowing them to create near-identical profiles with convincing weight and geometry. After stamping and machining, the surfaces move into finishing shops. Here, brushing and polishing define the illusion. A brushing link that runs in the wrong direction, or a chamfer edge cut too shallow, can give a fake away instantly. Skilled counterfeiters obsess over these details, matching grain patterns, bevel depths, and even the subtle play of light across polished flanks. Bracelets receive equal attention, with solid end links and heft engineered to replicate Rolex's balance on the wrist. Every cut, every stroke of polishing compound is chosen to fool the eye, and if done well, even the hand. Yet no detail betrays a watch's dial face. Or does it? You see, if the case is the skeleton, the dial is the soul, and counterfeiters know it. The amazing fact is that some replica dial specialists can now reproduce guilloche textures, enamel finishes, and even micro-printed text so precisely that photos and in-hand inspections struggle to reveal flaws. This work runs through a separate supply chain. Printers handle the razor-thin fonts, lacquerers and enameling shops lay down surface finishes, and third-party fabricators craft applicated indices from plated metals. Each group contributes to the illusion of authenticity, and the weakest link can ruin the effect. Quality control is obsessive. Dials are checked under magnification for misaligned print registration, uneven ink density, or color shifts that deviate from Rolex's exact tones. Even the thickness of applied indices and their luminous fills are scrutinized, since these tiny elements dictate whether the dial reads as genuine at first glance. For counterfeiters, the dial is where the failure or flawless deception becomes clear. Inside the case, the truth, or illusion, really depends entirely on the movement. Why? Because the movement is the heartbeat, and in replicas, it's where the greatest variety exists. The amazing fact is that counterfeit movements can range from cheap, mass-produced clones to highly refined super clones, engineered to visually mirror Rolex calibers down to engraved rotors and plated bridges. Factories make strategic choices here. Low-end replicas use inexpensive Asian movements, prioritizing cost and basic timekeeping. Mid-tier offerings opt for sturdier calibers with smoother sweep hands and better accuracy, balancing affordability with credibility. At the top, super clone producers invest heavily in cosmetic mimicry, engraving brand-specific markings and finishing the plates so the movement looks convincing through transparent casebacks or in a jeweler's loupe inspection. Testing is pragmatic. Most replicas undergo only basic function checks: winding, hand setting, and short-term rate stability. Very few are vetted for long-term reliability, since longevity isn't the priority. What matters most is the impression of authenticity, a movement that appears right, even if its lifespan tells a different story. What's surprising is that sometimes the smallest parts that make the biggest deception possible. And the amazing fact here is that high-end replicas now reproduce even ceramic bezels, luminous compounds, and cyclops magnifiers that once set genuine Rolex apart. These aren't afterthoughts. They're subcontracted to specialist suppliers who focus solely on small yet defining components. Ceramic bezel inserts are pressed, colored, and laser-etched with numerals, then passed through finishing shops to achieve the gloss or matte finish seen on originals. Lume application has become a competitive edge, with compounds selected for brightness and hue, ensuring hands and indices glow with a convincing tone in low light. The Cyclops lens, designed to magnify the date, demands even tighter tolerances. Too strong or weak a magnification exposes a replica instantly. Each of these parts arrives at assembly lines only after cosmetic tolerances are inspected. Edges, color matching, and magnification ratios must read correctly to the naked eye. When done right, these small details give replicas their power, not longevity, but a near-instant visual pass. But without the right packaging, even the most perfect replica collapses. The amazing fact here is that many replica operations now produce boxes, booklets, and warranty cards so close to genuine that even seasoned collectors hesitate. For counterfeiters, the illusion doesn't end with the watch. It extends to legitimate packaging. Box makers work in parallel, creating leatherette clamshells with stitching and embossing that mimic authentic counterparts. Printers produce glossy booklets, reference cards, and even hologram stickers, calibrated to color and texture standards lifted from real items. Serial number ranges are assigned in batches, often aligned with the same models being replicated at the same time, so the paperwork matches the watch it accompanies. At the final assembly stage, these items converge. The watch, the booklet, the box, and the warranty card are paired deliberately, creating a provenance package that appears complete. For unsuspecting buyers, this detail often closes the deal because the perception of legitimacy comes not from mechanics alone, but from the illusion of paperwork and heritage. Still, even perfection on the bench means nothing without control and direction. The absolutely amazing fact here is scale. Industry estimates suggest tens of millions of counterfeit watches enter circulation each year, making the replica trade an organized industrial ecosystem. To sustain this volume, every piece must pass through a final filter of quality control and sorting. Watches are inspected for surface flaws, weight consistency, and dial alignment. The many basic functions list, like date changes, second-hand motion, power reserve, are all spot-checked, but not stress-tested. From there, goods are graded. Tourist-grade pieces, often sold in street markets, show obvious shortcuts. Mid-tier or AAA replicas meet casual expectations. At the top are so-called super clones, graded for near indistinguishable detail and priced accordingly. Once sorted, batches move into distribution channels, wholesale hubs and ship containers of mixed stock, while online marketplaces and discreet resellers push curated lots to global buyers. Middlemen are essential here. They disconnect origin from retail, allowing watches to move seamlessly through a chain where appearance, not lineage, defines value. After seeing the scale and detail behind these replicas, would you trust the next Rolex that crosses your path? Let us know what you think in the comments.